I'd like to welcome you all to this episode of Take 5, and with me is the First Lady of Dental Practice Management, Linda Miles. Linda, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Marty.
So, what is the biggest problem or obstacle facing dental practices, in your opinion, today with these tougher economic times?
I really think it's a busyness problem for a lot of practices. They've noticed the slowdown. I think another part of this is that the dental team members are very good at doing their daily duties, and they know how to do their daily duties. They don't have the training nor the time to go after the sub-practice, which is the practice within every practice we meet.
So what are your recommendations for getting those inactive patients to become active once again?
Well, the team has to take a real focused approach, and I think it should be a total team effort. But if someone isn't good on the telephone, we really don't want them making those reactivation calls. And there are so many services out there today that can help get these inactive patients in through emails, through all different sorts of messages. But I think bottom line is that personal phone call is still a very important part of reactivation.
So the staff is a big part of any practice. It's the biggest part. How are things different now today with staffing than they were maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
I think the biggest problem for the team members, the ones that I talk to at seminars, is that they're concerned that they're working harder and they haven't had an increase in pay because the practices are slower. And I think that they're a little bit frustrated, and I let them know, you're so lucky that you still have a job. And that I've been through 3 recessions, and guess what? It does get better. So
well, everything goes, it goes the ups and the downs. And
exactly.
You know, I know in my practice we haven't seen huge increases, and everybody's kind of had to bite the bullet.
Exactly.
But nobody lost their job.
Exactly, and that's the main key, that they kept their job.
If we can keep people busy enough and active enough, patients too, I think we're in a good position, I guess.
I think so.
Now let's move from the staff to the dentist. What's keeping the dentists awake at night?
What are they worrying about in 2012 is that they absolutely have a budget and finance problem, overhead control. Part of that is staffing issues. I think dentists probably spend more time worrying about the staffing issues and keeping them motivated in tough times. And I think other things that worry them is time management, staying on schedule, and that's a real issue. If a practice isn't, on schedule, it really makes for a bad day.
So what trends are you seeing in 2013 and beyond that the dentist needs to be aware of?
I think the number one issue is corporate practices and the increase in dental insurance plans and the dentists who are choosing to remain total fee-for-service. And I think that it takes a great deal of marketing, internal and external marketing, to keep the chairs filled if you plan to be a total fee-for-service practice.
I think fee-for-service practices, the numbers are getting smaller every year.
They certainly are.
And is there some suggestion you may have to try and keep those chairs full besides, reactivating the inactives?
Well, reactivation is key because these patients already know us, but I used to be a total fee-for-service consultant, and I used to encourage dentists to get off the plans. And now, as I saw 2 practices in the same zip code area, the same size, the same number of team members, one was spending $8,000 a month to market and keep the chairs filled.
That's a lot of money.
While the other practice was writing off $6,500, was totally busy and didn't spend any money or time on marketing. So, it's which one is the smartest?
I don't know. I guess it depends on your philosophy and the practice in the area itself.
It really depends on the area, the demographics of what your town looks like. If 85% of the patients have a plan and you choose not to be on those plans, that could be very much a professional suicide.
So if you got one thing that you get to say to everybody out there in terms of running their practice, what is it?
Number one, I think your team makes or breaks the practice, and 2 things are missing: the training and the time to implement the behind-the-scenes work that creates the busyness. They go through the motions of their day-to-day. They know how to do their day-to-day. They don't have time and proper training to dig into the sub-practice.
A lot of good information, Linda. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Marty. It's been a joy.
Linda Miles has lived more dental practices than all of us that are practicing will ever see. So take these words of wisdom, try and apply them, and see how you can benefit from better practice management.